Hello, everyone. A lot to cover on this busy Friday. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thanks so much for joining us on the ABC10 app. It's day 2 of the Twin Rivers Unified School District teacher strike.
And it's impacting thousands of teachers and even more students and families across Sacramento, North Highlands, and Rio Linda.
The district brought in substitutes and says administration and support staff are also helping supervise students.
With all those changes and uncertainty, though, some students are not showing up. ABC10's Gabriel Porras is live, and Gabriel, you spoke to some concerned parents.
Yeah, the district told parents that during a strike, the school day may look and feel different, but some parents told me that difference was so extreme they wondered why they even sent their children to school in the first place. There were still a few hours of the day left at Highlands High School, but Marissa Rodriguez was not waiting. From the driver's seat in front of her daughter's Twin Rivers Unified School, she called the attendance office.
Today I'm picking her up. She can be at home catching up on work or projects that she needs to do.
Doing anything but what Marissa's daughter says her class was doing at school on day 2 of the district-wide teacher strike.
She just said that they weren't doing anything, that they were in groups and just sitting in the auditorium.
Marissa says it's not what she was expecting. In a letter to parents Thursday night, Twin Rivers Unified said it was, quote, fully prepared to continue providing instruction, enrichment activities, and a supportive environment. The district said it brought in substitutes, but added that the school day may still look and feel different.
They have a bunch of substitutes in there, but most, to get a sub-credential, you don't really need the proper training that all of our teachers have to go through.
Santiago Vivas Rodriguez didn't even send his daughter to class. The Northwood Elementary family spent their Thursday and Friday picketing.
They're spending $600 a day on glorified daycare, and my kid isn't getting any instruction. Why would I send them to that? I can teach them better at home. My wife can do that better at home, and I think that the lessons they learn out here are far better than the lessons that they're going to get in the classroom at the moment.
They should have a better plan in place, because what's the point of them coming to just sit down for 8 hours?
It's a question that made Marissa and others call the office to pick up their kid, and now they wonder what they'll do next.
So I'm not sure. I guess we'll see Monday how everything is going.
A lot of families waiting to plan right now. It is important to note that the district says that a teacher strike is not an excused absence. They do expect students to be in class for the full school day. Live in Sacramento, Gabriel Porras, ABC10.
Gabriel, thank you. We should note that in a letter to parents, the district says that 71.9% of students attended school on Thursday, and the staffing was 88.4%. Today's numbers have not yet been released, but teachers say they'll be back on the picket line on Monday. We're also following a possible walkout at schools in Natomas. Teachers say they'll strike on Tuesday if no deal is reached with the district.
Now to continuing coverage. It's been just days since police say a man shot at cars randomly on Sacramento highways, creating chaos and leaving one person hurt. The suspect, 33-year-old Raymond Calderon, made his first court appearance today. ABC10's Garshpal Sangha was there and joins us live now outside the Sacramento County Jail. So Garshpal, tell us what happened in court today.
Yeah, Laura, it was a quick hearing lasting about 3 minutes, and then it was continued to another date. But this was the first time Calderon was in court, first time seeing a judge, and we have video of inside the courtroom, and you'll eventually see him. And what we were told is we can't show his head, so we had to shoot from neck down. And the 33-year-old Raymond Calderon walked into court wearing an orange jumpsuit and shoes similar to Crocs. A judge appointed him a public defender who immediately asked to push the hearing back. Now, investigators say Calderon is accused of firing at least one vehicle on Highway 160 near downtown Sacramento Wednesday morning, and then portions of Highway 160 and Interstate 5 were temporarily shut down. Now, Calderon is expected to face multiple charges, including attempted murder, and investigators say they still don't know what the motive was. So the judge continued that hearing to March 19th, and he did not plead today. That will come at a later date, but he is being held at the Sacramento County Jail without bail, and he's not eligible for bail, as I mentioned there. But we did see a family and friends at the courtroom for Calderon, and they declined to speak at this time. Reporting live from Sacramento County, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Okay, this is a story we will continue to follow very closely. Keep us posted as you learn more. Paul, thank you.
Well, the conflict in Iran is driving up gas prices and sending Wall Street on a downward spiral.
Today, the latest jobs report shows a weak job market, adding more pain to the economy.
ABC's Melissa Dunn explains how Americans are feeling the economic impact.
As the war in the Middle East escalates, the tension is growing on America's economy. Today, the latest jobs report adding a strain on the labor market after 92,000 jobs were cut last month and the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.4%.
I have to think, do I buy this extra toy for my son?
Analysts warn the current situation aggravates the ongoing affordability challenge facing many Americans.
There is a risk that inflation goes from too high to even higher.
A prolonged conflict could keep energy prices high. This as the Strait of Hormuz is blocked as Iran threatens ships from the U.S., Israeli, European, and Western allies that take the vital passageway.
The longer crude oil prices stay higher, the longer gasoline prices stay higher, those are going to filter on through the economy because we're reliant on transportation for so many things, and that hurts consumers.
The war rattling markets, upending supply chains, and prices at the pump keep growing.
Whatever's going on, it costs a lot to do.
The national average for a gallon of gas climbing to $3.30. In just 7 days, prices surging by 32 cents per gallon.
If I have to suffer a little bit, I guess I'm going to have to suffer a little bit because there's a lot of people suffering that are in a worse situation.
The Trump administration announcing it will allow India to buy some Russian oil. This part of a temporary strategy to boost global supply and bring down surging prices. Melissa Dunn, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Melissa, thank you. Still ahead, daylight saving time starts Sunday. Why losing an hour of sleep can take a toll on your body, and the steps you can take right now to make the time change easier.
Plus, the new push to help the middle class buy a home here in California.
It's been a windy Friday, tracking when those calmer winds will arrive for the weekend forecast, plus a warming outlook ahead.
Don't forget, daylight saving time starts Sunday. Move your clocks ahead by an hour.
Time to spring forward, right? It doesn't have to take a toll on your sleep, though. So here are some tips on how to prepare now so you can spring forward without losing any of those Z's.
It's that time of year again. Sunday, March 8th, spring forward an hour starting at 2 a.m.
With spring forward specifically, people tend to have a little bit more difficulty acclimating to it.
Michelle Drerup with Cleveland Clinic says data shows this shift in time can lead to a rise in cardiovascular events and accidents. Sleep disruptions can also affect mood due to grogginess, headaches, fatigue, and increased irritability.
We just want to be cautious if you're driving in those early mornings after the time change. Sometimes people may decide like, okay, I'm going to, on that Monday morning, I'm not going to schedule anything that takes, a lot more focus or high kind of, attention tasks.
Drerup says preparing now before the time change is key. Start by gradually adjusting bedtime and wake time. Go to bed 15 to 20 minutes earlier and wake up 15 to 20 minutes sooner. She says it's especially important for children and teens.
So it's not a big hour chunk at one time.
Maximizing light exposure in the morning is also key. Drerup says opening the blinds and going outside to walk will help wake you up. And while it's tempting, she says to avoid midday snoozes and not to compensate with over-caffeination.
Which may help in that moment or for that day, but then potentially puts us at risk for having more difficulty falling asleep that night, depending on timing of when a nap or caffeine use is occurring.
Okay, so the countdown is on, huh? Sunday it is. Spring forward can be especially hard on night owls like myself who stays up until God knows when, right? People with chronic sleep disorders as well as those who have dementia. So for those groups, it's especially important to prepare early and try and get that light exposure in the morning, we're told.
Yeah, that can help. And we've been kind of joking and seriously talking in that package about practicing for it.
Right.
I don't know anyone who actually does that. I don't do that. I just rip the whole Band-Aid off.
I know, right?
Oh,
I was
it's
sitting
tough.
here thinking like, okay, yeah, maybe I can do that. And then I thought, it's an hour. What? It's not like I'm coming back from Europe or something.
I know, the whole day ahead or the East Coast.
You know, and again, unless you have some of those bigger underlying health impacts, maybe an hour won't hurt so bad, right? And it's maybe the idea about it. I think it's the idea more. Okay, I've got one more thing to talk about with that time change because this one actually could catch people off guard, and that's going to be the sun glare because that could have some unforeseen impacts when you head out for that morning commute, especially if you're eastbound after the time change. Let me explain for a second. It's going to be a later sunrise, so perhaps you don't have that commute until about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you really haven't been impacted so far. But come Monday, you're going to be hit straight on the windshield with that sun coming up over the horizon. So that'll last from roughly about 7:30 until almost 8:30 in the morning, again, for eastbound commuters. Now, on the flip side of that, it's going to be westbound commuters that are going to be hit with that later sunset from roughly about 6:15 or so until just after 7 o'clock when that sun goes down below the horizon. So a couple of things to just keep in mind because that sun glare is fierce, especially because we have sunny skies that are heading our way right after that time change for the first morning and evening commute on Monday. Here's what else we're tracking. Lighter winds in the forecast. Of course, we talked about that time change, plus much warmer weather ahead next week. That's all part of the bigger shift that we've been seeing. We've had these dry, warming winds, current wind gusts still upwards of 30 miles per hour in parts of the valley. So it's still quite breezy out there as we're wrapping up our Friday. Peak wind gusts so far for today, almost 40 miles per hour for Vacaville, Marysville, as well as Sacramento. Over 30 mile per hour wind gusts today. Stockton and Modesto a little closer to 20 mile per hour gusts. Nonetheless, if you're an allergy sufferer, any wind is not exactly what you want to be met with at this time of year. As far as our weather systems across the west, we've got one moving through the Pacific Northwest, another one that's departing, kind of parked in the Great Basin. That's all part of the bigger equation that's bringing us some of the gusty winds. Highs, though, for today reaching the low to mid 70s in some parts of the valley, 60s throughout the foothills, and 40s for this area. You can see our temperature trend has been above average. Just to kind of reset, our average high is 65 65 degrees. We're going to be on our way to almost 75 degrees tomorrow afternoon. What a great looking sunset here at 6:04. We've got one more sunset, folks, in the 6 o'clock hour, and then we jump into the 7 o'clock hour on Sunday. So that's kind of the bonus round of the time change. Sunny skies right now. Temperatures in the 60s to near 70 for the Valley. Tahoe right now at 41 degrees. So again, we have to deal with the winds for tonight into early tomorrow, and then winds will start to die down as we head into the afternoon and evening, setting the stage for a transition from wind to warmth in the forecast. We're going to see this contour shift deep into the oranges by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. So again, we are looking at some warm weather heading our way. Near 50 up top for the Tahoe Basin, 70s to near 80 tomorrow for the Bay Area and parts of the East Bay as well as the Delta. And we'll see that in the Valley for our Saturday forecast. That's how we kick off the weekend. We'll see highs close to 60 by Sunday for the Tahoe Basin, 70s solidly for the foothills and 70s for the Bay Area. Our extended forecast, we've got the spring forward on Sunday, and then it's all about the spring feels next week. Highs in the 70s, almost 80 by the time we get into next weekend, too.
Wow, March wasting no time at all. Just like that, we're ticking up those temperatures.
Right.
Jumping from spring right into summer, huh?
Almost. Yep.
Monica, thank you. Let's turn now to a traffic alert happening tonight. Listen to this. Lanes will be reduced on Highway 50 for 55 hours. This is expected to impact thousands of drivers, and it's part of the Fix 50 project. It impacts westbound traffic from the Business 80 interchange to the 16th Street off-ramp. The lane closures start at 10 p.m. tonight. Now, both the Business 80 connector and 16th Street off-ramp will be closed, and 2 lanes will be closed as crews work on the ramp. The closure lasts through at least 5 a.m. Monday.
Up next, a big move for middle-class home ownership in California. A new bond initiative could dramatically lower down payments.
Plus, the moon no longer in danger. The new data showing a giant asteroid moving safely past. What it means for Earth. Well, a plan to make homeownership more affordable for the middle class is likely to be on the November ballot.
Advocates argue when it comes to state support, the middle class is often left out.
ABC10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh has the details.
New houses, only brand new houses, increased supply, affordability.
Those are the two goals of the California Middle Class Homeownership and Family Home Construction Act of 2026, a bond initiative by former Assembly Speaker and Senate Majority Leader Bob Hertzberg. It would help any middle-class Californian, not just first-time home buyers who have been in California for at least 1 year and plan to live in the home, by lowering the down payment while incentivizing the building of new middle-class homes.
There is a strong and appropriate interest among affordable housing communities. There's a whole group of people that believe in renters. I wanted a clean, pure help the middle class.
The middle class, often known as the missing middle when it comes to housing, are unable to qualify for affordable housing programs, but also unable to buy homes at market rate.
The middle class, the working Californian who can afford to maintain that home but cannot afford or is struggling to get that down payment.
The California Association of Realtors is helping to fund the initiative, saying California is in a home ownership crisis. The standard down payment in California is around 20%. The bond would instead allow for a 3% down payment and a loan on the remaining 17%.
3% down versus 20% down of whatever that number is going to be dramatically less. That's the biggest barrier. How do you save that kind of money?
So who pays for that loan? Not taxpayers. It's a $25 billion revenue bond, meaning the project would eventually fund itself as home buyers repay their loans. The state would first sell about $25 billion in bonds to the market and perhaps private investors to generate that loan fund.
So the revenue bonds does depend on a robust bond market to buy that. And I think you'll have that in California.
And with the requirement, this applies only to new housing. The hope is on supply and demand, that with more home buyers, a potential 150,000 homes could be built, including condominiums, factory or modular housing, even commercial buildings transformed into homes.
If you can bring down the cost of housing construction, or if you can find an incentive like a bond, you can start to move more people into housing ownership.
Jenny Ha, ABC10.
Jenny, thank you. Hertzberg says his initiative has collected more than 900,000 signatures of support. The measure needs just over 546,000 valid signatures to be on the November ballot.
Well, coming up, a close call called off. What NASA says about a giant asteroid and the chances of it colliding with the moon and Earth. Coming up new tonight on the news at 6, retired teachers say they can't reach CalSTRS, and tax season is here. 10 on your side has the answers on what's happening, why, and how to get your documents fast. But first, happening this weekend, you'll have the chance to taste some of the best beer in the country, all in Sacramento. The Capitol Beer Fest is back in downtown tomorrow. Beer from around the country, food trucks, and live music will fill up the Capitol Mall from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So here's the deal. General admission prices start at $55. And they also have VIP passes available, we're told, for $85.
Now to some good news from NASA tonight. The moon is no longer in danger of getting hit by a closely watched asteroid. My goodness, new data from the James Webb Space Telescope refined the orbit of the building-sized object. Scientists are eliminating a previous 4% chance the asteroid would strike the lunar surface in December 2032. The asteroid is now expected to pass by the moon at a distance of 13,000 miles. NASA also says the object poses no significant risk to Earth for at least the next century. Okay, everyone, you can all sleep soundly tonight. Thank goodness. Whew, that was a close one.
Biggest concern is just that springing forward this weekend.
I know, right? We're back at that. Okay, the moon is safe, Earth is safe, but we have to lose an hour of sleep.
Lose an hour of sleep, right? Don't say we didn't tell you, right?
Exactly. Thanks so much for joining us. Watch us anytime, any day on your schedule. Just download the free ABC10 app. We'll see you next time.